Hello everybody, my name is Sam Harkin. Hello everybody, my name is Sam Harkin. I need to slow my talking down a bit. Welcome to the Awesomes of June and also July, because I kind of couldn't edit videos for like 4 weeks and didn't post anything as a result. So first off we have the music, and the best song, which I'm giving to a very political anthem, is by Rihanna, in which she instructs her bitch, whether that be male or female, because it can be both in this circumstance, that they better have my money. Social commentary on the recession and how she has to currently hustle in order to get money. It's one of those songs that you walk down the street and you're just like, I'm the fucking queen or king. The other audio thing that I have to add is the best podcast. And I haven't really changed it around that much. I'm listening to quite a bit of the Podquisition, so there's a weekly podcast by Jim Sterling of the Jimquisition. If you like crude humour and video game news, then next let's move on to the video, and I've got an award for Ant-Man, and even though it's probably not going to win this one, I kind of want to put it into the worst film, because I don't have really any contenders in that. I don't think it's absolutely terrible. I think a good chunk of it is just the fact that I've hyped it for like the past 3 years since like the first Avengers came out, and I was like, there's not Ant-Man in there, why? I've been hearing this stuff like, oh, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. No. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy was great because everybody had their own character quirks. Apart from the villain. This one felt more like you had like the rich people having to work with the poor people, and it was just like, I don't know about that. Best live action TV, and I am going to give this to 2 Netflix series, neither of which is Orange is the New Black. I'm going to watch that soon. Also not House of Cards, because I'm watching it with my parents and they just don't watch Netflix. But the first one I'm going to give it to is Sense8. It very much reads a lot like Orphan Black, except you replace clones with telepathy. So it's like, yeah, it's sort of different, I guess. I think what I have heard about this, as Matt Lieberman has said, because I was on a Lieber Friends stream thing, it's more interesting than it is necessarily actiony, but I still like it. It's a very slow burn, but at the same time, if they went for a fast burn, they would just and they'd be done. But it did get renewed for a 2nd season as well, which I'm sort of terrified, because I'm kind of like, how are they going to go from here? But at the stage that we're at, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you very much. And the other one that I want to give it to is Grace and Frankie. I love dramedies with such a passion, and this is a dramedy, and it's actually it gets pretty dark at times, but it's so good. Grace and Frankie are married to... But then they announce to their wives that they're gay, and they're also going to get married to each other. So that leaves Grace and Frankie to both move into the beach house and have to deal with things like, oh, am I too old? Is nobody going to love me? And like going on first dates and things. And I know that sounds really boring. It might be boring to you, but I like it because I love comedy and drama. It's such a good combination. My favorite animated stuff is Ultimate Otaku Teacher. It is great. It is a show where the main character is an otaku, otherwise known as a massive geek in the West. So he's huge into MMOs, he's huge into manga, which is Japanese comics, anime. Basically, he's like completely nutso for that stuff, and that's pretty much where the vast majority of the comedy comes. All of these episodes, he's teaching like a moral to one of the students, like that you've got to believe in yourself, or that you've got to surround yourself with friends, or you've got to like live your dream kind of stuff, which is, it's nice. And finally, we have the 2 small video makers. I've decided to change it from YouTube because I've gotten into other avenues. Is Fantastic Ideas, because her name is Natasha, so it's Fantastic Ideas. Yes, she is an awesome YouTuber. She introduced me to the Libra Friends stream, which I was in yesterday, and she seems like an awesome chick, and like talking on Twitter and stuff, and it's nice. And also, she's going to potentially be bringing out some poetry. I mean, I think that she is. I just don't want to have false advertising, but I mean, she's been on Twitter asking people what they think of her cover that she's made up, so I mean, well, the title, I guess. Yeah. And the other one that I have to talk about, because one, I said I was going to promote him, and two, because like I'm just like constantly watching his stream, is Metaman Zero. But he streams every day, 10 p.m. I think it's Eastern Standard Time, which for all the people in Australia is like about 12 p.m, so noon. He does quite a lot of Jackbox party games and that kind of stuff, which I love. And I love all the people that I've gotten to meet, including you, Cheesecake, even if we fight a bit, and Destro, and Ike Falcon, and Tori Wolf, and Tori the Wolf, and Simplistic Wolf, and now I'm running out of names. Yes, also, Two Dactyls. Also, what other jokes do we have? We have way too many jokes. Deep fried turkey. Interactive media thing, so we can tie it into the stream thing. Best game, Quiplash. I love it. It represents so many things that I want the game industry to move towards. Moving towards having multiplayer that is so accessible and you don't have to pay like fees and whatever, and you can stream and you can just have friends and talk to people like Metaman and stuff like. One that I don't like, which you should maybe be able to guess from my reviews day, is Rory McIlroy. It represents pretty much everything I don't like about the game industry. The graphics are great, but everything else is so weak. There are no courses, there is no character things, there's no interactive thing is Shadowmatic, which is my favorite mobile game. It's such a simple game. Admittedly, sometimes it's such a freaking aggravating game, but the idea is really simple, like weird kind of shape things, and you have to maneuver them around until the shadow that it creates actually kind of shows something. So maybe it might be like a letter, or it might be like the silhouette of a teddy bear or something. It is pretty great, but it gets aggravating because they get very pedantic on how particular it is lined up. Even like you can know that, oh, that's the letter P, and then spend like another 5 minutes just trying to orientate it the right way. Finally, we go to literature. So the non-fiction book that I chose for today is The Pig That Wants to Be Eaten. I've actually bought 3 books by this author, but it was the first one that I read, and it's arguably the most interesting, and it's all thought experiments. So it's like for example, the one on the cover is like, what if there was a pig that wanted to be eaten? Would it be moral to eat it? And it's so interesting because it makes you think about all kinds of issues in completely different ways. It makes you think about how we're handling climate change. It makes us think about how free will happens. It makes us think about what else is it? About whether or not reality is real. How infidelity works, that kind of stuff. I would totally recommend reading it. If you're, I mean, obviously it's predicated on the idea that you have some kind of interest in philosophy, and I kind of have just recently, because I've been kind of seeing a therapist and talking that kind of stuff. And that is the graphic fiction thing for Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. It is so amazing. I love how all the chapters are just completely separate stories, so it becomes like the only manga that I'm considering actually buying some of, because I don't have to buy like 50 to get like the full experience. And it's so funny. They just like leapfrog from subject to subject about like, I'm in despair because people only half do things. I'm in despair because somebody's probably stolen my credit card information. And like all these individual characters who have all these completely, like, yeah, they're kind of like stock standard, but they all kind of get involved in the plot. So you've got like the chick who's very like, oh, prim and proper, everything has to be symmetrical. The previously mentioned despair teacher. You've got the super positive student. that kind of stuff, and it's amazing. I love it. I love it. There isn't really much more that can be said. Anyway, speaking of not much more that can be said, that is it. Finito. Yeah, watch my Rory McIlroy thing. Yeah, there's nothing really much more to say. Bye!